Hi everyone, Sean Innovate here. Just wanted to go over a couple of tricks and tips that I have for you with gaining some confluence within utilizing trend lines and ranges when we're doing trend line. All right. We typically do this with range charts in general, but with trend line, you get a little extra confirmation as to what's happening and which moves are actually going to make it. All right. So let me just start off with right, oh, going right here. We have our typical trend line forming here. All right. We have the 5 minute across the EMAs. So we didn't get over the EMAs, the MACD. The 5 minute EMAs are crossing here now. So we know that we're looking for a entry. All right. The 1 minute looks good. We pull up. We have the cross. We pulled here. We still didn't get it till about right here on the 5 minute. We pull back down, but we see we're still below on the fast. So as we're looking and we're going into this, right here, we're above the EMA. Everything's looking good. We're crossing up, but this being just sloping up or being below doesn't give us really the confidence we need in that this move is going up. All right. Not until we're here do we see that. Right here. Okay. Now, one thing I'm looking at while we're here is we were going sideways a little bit here. We see this building up here with chart traders, so sellers are stepping in here, selling in here. We have large selling delta here, pushing back down. We're not really seeing the buyers stepping in as much. Price still moved up, but we didn't see much. All right, so we're looking at the delta. Delta is kind of tapering off as we're going. 20%, 12%, we had 19 to push it through and dropped to 15. We had selling imbalance here. So it's looking good. All right. Right here, crossing up. Technically could have taken this trade here. Okay? And that one, we got 4.75. All right. Everything aligned and went well. Now we're here, we're looking, we still don't have a setup. We're below. But on the 5 minute, we're still above the EMA. All right. And then as we're looking, as we're going here, we pulled away. As we're pulling away, all right. Look at this right here. We look like we should have a good setup for us to get in. Okay. And this one, get in here. Looking at that correctly, we're going to say we did a small loss for 1.75 on that. All right. Then we look at this one here. We have another setup here, but now you just took this loss. You take that one. This one just happens to be the one that goes for 29 points. All right. Now, remember I said we saw it kind of going sideways. And we did. We had it here. We showed this one here. It went. It was a winner. But it failed to break and go higher. Failed to break and go higher. Let's look at this if we were looking at it in a horizontal manner. We have a range. Range held. So here we got to the bottom of the range, pulled back up. We broke out of the range, pulled back in. That's the move that went. All right. So we had a range. We broke out of the range, pulled back in. This here, it didn't really have that much of a range here. It broke out, broke back in. Once it was back in, this is the range. All right. This tried to break out. This here, candles were completely out, came back in, retested, and took off. That's the ranges you want to see, where the candle completely leaves the range and then comes back in. All right. If it's still touching, like we looked at earlier, over here, candles didn't completely leave. See? They're still in. So since they're still in, they didn't really pull out. Okay. This, you're going to get a signal to get in. Here, we're breaking above, but we're below the zero line. We're below the MACD here. So we don't really have our signal. This, it broke, came in, but you didn't adjust the range. Adjust the range. This here, we are clearly completely out of the range. Hold back in, all right? And then it took off. This is trying. You're getting our signal. Still could have taken that one, all right? Technically, it's only a point, okay? And then you got this one here. So that's the idea of utilizing ranges, okay? We look here. We're on the 5. We have everything's looking good, but now we dip below here. As we're here, we're going below the MACD over here. All right, looking for it going across, but you can see we're clearly going sideways. All right. This one here didn't break completely out. These here, they broke completely out. Pulled back in. Okay. As they pulled back in, this is where we get our signal. Because it's breaking out of the range and retesting. Price action rules that we're utilizing here. Okay. So you had a range that was going sideways. As it broke out, retests, and you get to move out. Okay. Everything's aligned for a trend lock going across the board. 42 quarters. All right. This is in pre-market. This one took 26 minutes. We were pre-market. Okay. Working pre-market, it works during regular trading hours. Here we go in the morning. We're having a bit of chop. Right here, we had a bit of sideways motion here. We didn't really get the break and retest, but let's look at this if we can. We had this range here, came back down into this range right here. So right down here, we had the range. It broke out to the bottom. Let's look at it right here. So this range starts here, never broke completely out. Okay, pull the range further, broke out, pull back, retest. We don't have a signal. All right, since we don't have a signal, there's no trade. Okay, we finally got the signal coming up right here after they're still consolidating a bit. So this one you technically could have taken with the trap traders right there. All right. And, all right. It gives us an idea of how the ranges are working. Right now, let's see, we had a sideways market. We're still looking for longs. Pulled out, pulled back in, but didn't give us a signal. Stayed inside the range. Okay, looking for longs. Not really a good signal, but you get the idea with the ranges. Now, take this to a little different aspect. We have the ranges. Let's get rid of these. Actually, yeah, I'll leave the arrows. All right, go rid of the ranges. Now, I'm going to work with trend lines. Okay, let's go in this chart. So, right here, we're starting to go. All right, so you're pulling from the lowest point. Okay, at this point here, we're looking for longs. All right, as we come up, you see, well, this one's not even drawn yet. So we're coming from here. What you want to do is make sure you don't cut any pins. All right. So we're starting from the lowest point. That line there, since it's touching the other candle here, okay, that's letting us know that's the trend line. It works, it just works. Now, this one here, we're coming up, we're coming back down. Our 5 minute and everything else is above. So since we're above, okay, we're going to start looking for where our entries are. Here, we're below on the fast MACD. Okay, so there's no entry. We take this trend line from up here to the highest point, draw it down. There's breaking, but we're below. Now here we're going above, but what we want to do is have the trend. Now, this is a very shallow trend line. All right, it's not very steep at all. So we're looking, and even though it's going up, everything's going up. We had our entry here for getting in, and it's below the trend line. That's not really a good entry. All right, so we'll move over. Now, reason we're moving over, we had a higher high, okay? Higher high. We're still getting decent amount of area here. This would end up being a small loss if we would have gone for the trend line break, okay? On the 5 minute, we're looking good. Here, we pull back. Drops us below. The moment we drop below, this higher point becomes our new point. Comes down. This candle breaks up, but we're below. This comes up to here, but we already broke this trend line. We didn't really get our signal. Comes to here, and we're still running below. Okay. We get to here, we have our trend line break. Our trend line breaks here, all right? We're breaking up here. We're just breaking this here, all right? Technically, looking at everything else, the 5 minutes just crossing over, this could have been an entry, all right? Right there. We look, This would have been right here. And look at how it stood there. So instead of entering here, we could have entered here. This went, pulled back, and gave us another entry to get to this one here. But the full breakout and retest of the trend line is right here on this one. Okay? That's typically what you want to do because trend lines act just like support and resistance, just like ranges. Ranges, once the range breaks, you're looking for the retest and go. Trend line breaks, you want the retest. This here, we could have actually said it was a retest. All right, and go. But now you're in this one here. You take this up to here. You get up to here. We're down and below. Same thing. Here, we go the trend line, but we're below the fast. Now we're below the MACD. Now I have this higher point here. Right, trend line. Where's okay. So we go trend line there. We have a pretty steep trend line. MACDs below, below. We're not seeing anything good there. Same thing here, and we're below. This here, since we have the cross, it pulls back down, and it's going. We're having every good signal except for the 5 minute. 5 minute MACD is below the signal line. Break up, we come to here. We're pretty flat with the MACD. Full break, retest. Where did that retest? Right on that trend line. Okay. This happened to be also where that range broke out. They both work in conjunction. So we could do it either way with the trend lines or with the ranges. But the trend lines give you some ideal spots for you to enter. So we've gotten in this one here for a little bit here. 5 points. And then this one here, a little earlier, 40 points. All right. The trend lines give you that extra input. Now look at this delta here. Look at how strong this delta was pushing up. All right. 234, 94%, but didn't get anywhere. Came back down, 79%, 181, coming on down. It was right before the open, and then it took off. All right. So now let's do another one. So now we're here. We have our trend line. We're looking at here. We're looking to see what would happen here short wise. But MACD is down on the 5, but our 5 minute had never crossed down. So we're still technically looking for longs. Look for a long. Now what you do with the trend line is, as it's going, since we don't have a signal and it's not breaking, you leave it to the top of that one. Here, we're breaking up, but we have the EMAs here. We're finally breaking this over here. And as we're breaking the trend line here, look at the MACD. We have a surge. This broke out. Pulled back. This here, you already know that this broke out here. We have room to get up here. All right, because there's a prior range area, prior high. So you have room to go still. Really no obstructions. So if you take this from this point here to there, another 13, this trend line here, we finally got everything else in agreement, including 5-minute MACD, crossing out this here, got another entry, breaking the trend line. We did this here and wanted to wait, you could have waited, crossed, all right? And it works just that easy. It works the same way for a downtrend. This one here, finally breaking up above the 8, and the trend line's breaking, but we're below, so there's no trade. This one here. Now this one right here, we're above on the fast, I mean on the standard, all right? We pull this up a little more, all right? So here we're just breaking above this one here, and we see these crossing up, we're crossing up. Let's see what we have for order flow. Right here, we have the track traders with positive delta coming in after this larger amount of negative. See delta just tapering down. We have all of our other agreements coming into play. This is sloping up. This is sloping up here on this one. And broke out of there. That was actually not a bad entry either. Right there. Yep. I don't like to cherry cut it. This is to here, this to there. There's a failure. And then track traders with the retest here. All right. And then another entry here. And here. There's greens. We don't have anything for it. We're looking. 5-minute looks good. 1 minute looks good. We drop below. Then we drop below again. We start picking up from here. Draw the trend line. From here to there. This broke out above, but we were below. This finally broke out here. Everything was agreeing to go along. Let's looks like more of a break-even trade there. Yep. You basically got a BE right there, depending on how you got it. Mhm. Now, why do I draw the trend line like that? Well, come over to here. Finally, we're getting these into agreement. 5 minutes looking good. Everything else is looking good. So we already know that there's our trend. This growth up here. We're still below over here. Pull back. We got to here. With the delta here changing. Delta flip. Flipping up. They go along. Didn't get much out of it. Another one here. So the one that closes good. This close actually came down here and retested as we're breaking. And all the other rules are applying. All right. And so now, remember, trend lines go both ways. So now we have this here. Looks like it's a trend line except for the 5. 5 is not an agreement. Neither is the 1. So we're still in the uptrend. We're looking at this here. This one here. We're breaking the candle up. Everything is in agreement. We're looking good. Trend line breaks. As the trend line breaks, right on that surge candle right here. So it's surging, breaking out of the trend line. Voila. Letter 17 is here. We just happen to get another re-entry here, coming off of the 8. All right. A little hard to see with. I might not have taken that one. Personally, I probably wouldn't have taken that one because we're below. We're below here. We still have negative delta. We did have a delta divergence. So they're pushing and they failed. That's the biggest thing going for them. And that's actually a pretty strong one since we had strong negative delta the one before. Using on delta here. You can see 49 contracts pretty much got trapped right there, right at these value areas. So value here, the buyers to control. Looking in that aspect of saying that we had these buyers here pushing in, see the volume, see the value area. They pushed up, value area, POCs are moving up. This one here, they came, oh God, we have a surge, simple surge setup. They came, they swept, and they pushed out. And that's what we like to see. Another 12 points. All right. So we're utilizing the order flow there. Right here, we utilize the surge to get out. You can even see that there was a little micro range right here. All right. Value area, value areas. They're all almost in alignment right there. Pull away, and then we run. All right. But the trend lines, when they break and we have a trend lock entry, that is confluence in what we're doing. There's more confirmation as to what's going on. Right here. Right here. Everything's aligned. Everything's aligned. Breaking the trend line as you get the cross here. So when we're getting the cross on the fast, look at that. All right. Right here. Cross on the fast. We got a little bit. This one here. This is a big one. Where everything's up in agreement and we're crossing over. No reason not to take that trade. Okay? You passed the resistance and now you go. Okay? Past the resistance. We're crossing up. We're above on the standard. Everything else is looking good. All right. At the end of the day, 8 points, 12 points, 17 points. All these base hits add up. 3 points, half a point. That's break even. 9 points, 1.5 points. We actually had a full loser. That's very rare. 11 points, 13 points, 40 points, 5 points, break even. All right. And Wednesday, everything looks pretty solid as you go. All right. So just wanted to get this little tidbit out there for you guys. All right. Wanted this one here, we're below, so it doesn't make sense. We're crossing up finally over here. You know, this here, when that line starts getting very shallow, another idea of we're in a range. Right? Pulls back and goes. So if you're using trend lines, you're like, wait, this is not looking right. This is kind of shallow. Get your range. Right? If you would see the 5 minute that we're clearly constantly moving up, and you want to know when it's going to be breaking, that's how we know. All right. These forces here. This is here at the trend line. That's a great signal. We pushed to there. But this one right here for the retest, that did really good. Okay. Because we had the sideways mark. All right. Hope that helps you guys. And catch you on the next one.